Right, welcome back to another Rust and Custom production. We'll be doing an inbox review of Airfix's Mitsubishi A6M2b Zero, and it's in 1:72 scale. This is the third release, or fourth release of this kit. The first release was the all over green stream with the number 34. I can just grab that for you. Which looks something like this. This is my one I built about a year and a half ago, so skills shown here aren't very good. I used Humbrol decal fix. I did use Tamiya paints on it. It's covered in dust. But the Tamiya paints were dissolved by the decal fix, and so it sort of melted it and it stained the bottom of it there. And it has been filled with the filler, wasn't sanded down properly, wasn't given enough time to dry. Brush strokes are present, not all the decals are on there. Not being completely painted, the antenna's missing and the pitot tube, because I never put them on. I did experiment with some chipping on this one. As you can see, it was enamel chipping over an acrylic, which it looks, looking back at it now, it's pretty nasty. I mean, it's everywhere, and if you can imagine if something's chipped, it's not going to have a sort of like a rounded edge, it's usually a sharp edge, so yeah, on that basis it isn't that good. But I progressed from that to this, which is the exact same kit again, apart from this time the paint's actually been scratched off the surface, and I switched the numbers around so I had a different variant of the aircraft. That's the only difference on that. And yeah, and then third time round, this was done not that long ago. It was done with an airbrush, and it was represent White 105, which is, there's some quite good photos online of it, so if you can catch it in the light, hang on. White 105, you see there. I've got some photos of it and stuff, and it was basically a grey Zero that was repainted green, and so I thinned down the paint quite a bit and then just brushed it on there. I believe it actually was an A6M3 White 105, but at the time I didn't realise that, and the only people who do the A6M3 is Hasegawa and Tamiya. I've got both of them, but those kits aren't as common, so I did it on the Airfix one. Anyway, let's continue the review. There was also the white one, which I have in another room, which was, I think it was, I can't remember what the number of it was, but it was all over white, well, the grey stream rather, and it was a good kit. You could get it as the starter set, which only came with a couple decals, and get it as the with the P40. Then it would have more stencils. Anyway, so this kit costs £6.59, and the box art is really nice. It depicts it with a wildcat getting shot down, and then we've got another wildcat coming in behind it trying to shoot it down, I think. Back of the box we have the paint diagram. You only get one marking option for this. On the previous Japanese aircraft, they've told you to use Humbrol 90 as the IGN grey, but now they've changed their mind and told me to use satin hemp. But in my case, I'm going to be using some XF12 JN grey, which is the most accurate colour you can get. It's Tamiya's one. This one, there's nothing left in the pot, and I can get you another pot. We've got a couple pots of it. Yeah, it looks like that, so it's a light greeny grey colour. And then you've got, it tells you to paint it midnight blue and coal black mixed together for the cowling. I believe this isn't accurate, you should just paint it all semi-gloss black. And it's a bit too browny, the colour they recommend. And then if you open up, we get the parts. It's a side opening box, so for some that isn't desirable, but I don't really mind. I mean, I do store them in the open top boxes, but got plenty of them. We'll start off with the instruction sheet, where we have obviously the history of the aircraft. I believe it will be the same as the other one, and then it has the name and the symbols, the icons, and then for best results, to clean the parts, and then some parts might not be necessary to build it. It's only an A5 sheet of paper, this, so you've got your cockpit being built, all the interior green 226, and I'll be using Tamiya XF71 for that. Gunmetal gun handles, I believe they are. And then if we turn it over, we have a silver engine. I believe it was gunmetal last time, not entirely sure, but. And then you've also got your cowling getting painted. You got the option for folded wingtips or not. You have to cut the wings unfortunately for that. And then you've got your fuselage going on to the wings going together. You have to cut out the slot for the drop tank if you want the drop tank attached, and drill holes for the stand. And then you've got your stabilizers drawn on. And then final page, we've got undercarriage doors going on with the actuators. We've got the drop tank again. If you want it on this on the stand with the drop tank, you have to drill 2 holes in the drop tank, and then we've got up on undercarriage, and continuing down, nicely detailed undercarriage. Canopy goes on, propeller goes on, and then it gives you all the angles of the undercarriage. Also get some, I believe these are aileron actuators drawn, and you've got your pitot tube, which is pretty thick. Right, we'll pop that to the side. Take a look at the decals. This marking option is 3rd Air Group 202nd Kokuta Imperial Japanese Navy, Rabaul, September 1942. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. All the decals are really nice. We only get 20 of them, which is a bit of a change. Usually they'll give you about 700 to draw on. You've got the bands. You could paint them if you want, but you might struggle finding an accurate colour for them. Obviously you've got your red bands. All the Hinamaras look really nice compared to the ones that came on the first release of this Zero, which looks a bit orangey in my opinion, or pinky. Obviously you can read every single one of them. Very thin, printed by Cartograph as well. So, and these are split, so you can have the rudder positioned as you want, and then the decals positioned the same way. Also, I noticed on the instructions the text on the top, it was in a different format. I think, not font, but it was laid out slightly differently. Sprue wise, we'll start with sprue A, which has the lower wings. We've got recessed panel lines. They're quite heavy. They're heavier than the Tamiya Zero, but they're still really nice. We've got an engine. One thing that really irritates me about engines is they've always got the sprue going right the way around them, which I find hard. You have to cut them all out, and then you could damage the engine doing that. We've got our folded wingtips, aileron actuators, machine guns. Oh, here's an example of it that's not going all the way around. I'm not sure why they couldn't have just done that for the other one. We've got the fuselage, really nice, and the landing gear doors. Cockpit interior detail, also very, very nice. We've got ribbon, and we've got a wee sort of radio box, I believe it is, on the side. Next sprue, we have the tops of the wings, which have the same amount of surface detail as the fuselage. Still very nice. The drop tank, it looks a bit of an odd shape. I'm not sure. It looks different to me. And then we have the propeller blade and the cockpit floor. That was sprue. What was it? Sprue B. And then sprue C. We have the cowling in a massive hole. And the cowling now is covered in flash. Rebels at Cloud9, when he built his one, it had minimal flash on it, but this one's pretty awful. Then we've got the doors, which look really nice again. The pitot tube, it's quite thick and horrible, so you might want to replace that with some brass. We've got the cockpit details look really nice, all nice and crisply moulded, no flash on them. Pilot, there's a wee bit of flash surrounding him, and same amount of interior detail on the other side of the cockpit wall. The next sprue, is the canopy sprue, which is inaccurate, unfortunately. The curves on the edge of the canopy are a lot sharper than they should be, but apart from that, it is quite a nice canopy. One piece, it would have been nice to have it able to slide back, but it's so clear that won't really affect it. Anyway, that was the in-box review of the Airfix Mitsubishi Zero. Go follow me on Facebook, Rustin Customs. Subscribe as well, that would help a lot. Let me know if you're liking the videos, any comments, any questions. Also, Rebels at Cloud 9, if this hasn't arrived in Canada yet, just tell me, I can send you one over if you want, if you're watching the video. It's a skill level 1, I forgot to mention this, and you get flying hours, token of 1, cartograph decals, it says it on the back. So yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.